It's October 23rd, 2014. Has the meeting been officially warned?
Yes,
It has.
Thank you. There's one item on tonight's agenda, which is to approve a contract with a new town manager and to announce who the new town manager is going to be. So I'm going to start just by thanking a series of people who've been involved in this process. It's probably 16 months, almost to the day, since the last full-time town manager, Barb Sondag, gave us her resignation. And during that time, there's been a whole range of people who have participated in the process of helping us search for a new town manager. I want to thank Jan Anderson, the town manager secretary, without whose organizational skills this search process would have been much more difficult to pull off. And I want to thank Patrick Moreland, who has served as interim town manager since the end of July and who has helped to maintain a steady hand and keeping the town moving forward. I want to thank all of the people who participated in the search process. We had two different committees, a citizens committee, and that was made up of Lisa Lorimer, Jerry Goldberg, Rhonda Calhoun, and Spoon Agave. I want to thank all of them for their participation. And we had committees of staff members who also met with candidates. It's changed over time, but the most recent group was Hannah O'Connell, Al Franklin, Jean Walsh, Lindsay Belleville, Kim Ellison, Sue Fillion, and Jan Anderson. I want to also thank all of the department heads who participated in the process, who met with candidates in all three of the rounds that we had to follow through on in order to locate our candidate. I'm pleased to announce tonight that Peter Elwell, who is currently the town manager in Palm Beach, Florida, will be beginning as town manager for the town of Brattleboro on January 20th of 2015. It's just about 3 months away. Peter was born and raised here in Brattleboro. He graduated from BUHS in 1980. Graduated from Middlebury College and then from University of Pennsylvania with his master's in government administration. Peter has served as the town manager of Palm Beach, Florida for the last 14 years since 2001. Before that, he was township manager in Roxbury, New Jersey, and also before that worked as assistant town manager, assistant to the town manager, and administrative assistant to the town manager, also in Palm Beach. In total, he's got 24 years of management experience with municipalities. We went through a very lengthy process in an effort to locate this candidate and this incoming town manager. And ultimately, we concluded that, and I'm speaking for myself, but I think also for other board members, that he's got the experience, the perspective, the vision, temperament, management skills, and professionalism, and also attention to detail, really to make an excellent town manager going forward. I have in hand a contract that's been negotiated between the town of Brattleboro and Peter, and I'm going to walk through its terms generally at this point, and then the board's going to consider that contract. So, and then vote on that contract. So I have a number of extra copies if anybody wants to look along, and those are available here. There's some extra copies, and the board members have all reviewed the contract. So, the contract with Peter is for a period of just over 4 years, beginning January 20th, 2015 to the end of the fiscal year in 2019. The initial pay under the salary is $95,000 a year. I want to speak to that just a little bit and to let everybody know that we did our homework about other town manager salaries throughout the state of Vermont. And based upon data from the 2014 VLCT surveys, there are currently 15 town managers who earn over $90,000 a year in Vermont, and the salary we'll be paying falls right in the middle of that range. Also included in the package is a $5,000 annual motor vehicle allowance. There are some termination provisions that provide for termination only for just cause and for severance over the 4 years and change of this agreement if the board discharges for other than for just cause in the amount of 9 months salary and continuation of health care. It provides for indemnification and professional development. We've agreed to pay Peter's moving expenses from Jupiter, Florida, where he lives, here to Brattleboro. We'll be getting 3 bids for a pack and ship move, and we'll be paying for that cost, but Peter and his family will bear all other expenses associated with the move. And like I say, Peter's got a series of commitments that he's got to make, and including giving notice to his current employer. And there's some significant matters that get dealt with at the beginning of January in Palm Beach. And so he'll be beginning here on January 20th of 2015, just about 3 months away. If anybody's wondering how they know the name, Peter is Corwin Elwell's son. He was town manager for, I think, almost 25 years, maybe longer. And he was town manager, and he left the job in 1989. So this is Corky Elwell's son. We're going to be voting on the contract, and it's going to be the only other order of business here. What I can say is that Peter was here this past weekend and had a marathon day of interviews on Friday. He met with the Citizens Committee, the Staff Committee, all department heads, the interim town manager, and the select board. He started at 8 o'clock in the morning and ended at 7 o'clock at night, and then came back through on Monday. And we actually have his commitment in writing here on a copy of this contract to serve as our town manager. And so the contract we'll be executing after our vote to approve will result in a fully executed and attested to contract with this new incoming town manager. Before we act on a motion to approve this contract, I want to know if anybody else from the board wants to speak to this, or if anybody who's in attendance wants to speak to it, or has any questions or comments.
I'll speak to it. I think we're all happy, at least I can speak probably for everybody, that we're all happy about this. I think we've got somebody who knows the area, but has been away and gained a lot of experience to come back and really help us move forward. And I think that that was, for me, I was very impressed with his credentials. I think when he gets here, everyone's going to find somebody who's very enthusiastic about the job. His heart is into living here. He's making a choice to come and live here because he wants to come here and come back and be part of the community again. So I think we have a wonderful, wonderful person coming to be our town manager.
I'd like to say something. So I also want to echo David's gratitude to Jan, to Patrick for his service to this town, and to all of the department heads and everyone who assisted with the interview process. It's been difficult for the select board to, be a part of something that has taken so long, and to be very mindful of the way in which transition can be stressful. And I so appreciate, know that we all do, the way the town has functioned, and everybody's capacity and competence and commitment. It's been a really important service to the town. And I think a lot of the candidates that we looked at were incredibly skilled, and I have to say from the very first time I met Peter, not knowing his father, not knowing his history in this town, the one thing that stood out to me was his absolute love of Brattleboro and his sincerity. And I think those are two really foundational things that he can bring in addition to all of his experience as town manager. So I'm very thrilled. I think he's committed. I think he's hardworking. I think he is quite brilliant at relationship and leadership, and so I look forward to welcoming him in January.
Go ahead, Jim. Yeah, I'm just going to say that it's been a long process, but it was a process, and but I think at the end of the day, what we're getting is really kind of remarkable, seeing everything that we've been through, and then to end up with a candidate that I feel is leaps and bounds of what we were looking at, and so I think everybody's going to love him. He's got a great personality. I just think, again, through all that we've been through, this is going to be a good fit.
I guess I can speak to our disappointment with the first two candidates that we offered the job to who didn't wind up not coming here. The first one had a great deal of experience and familiarity with local governance, and the second one had great enthusiasm, great vision, excellent demeanor. And Peter combines both of those. So he's sort of the perfect antidote to the disappointment that we experienced in the earlier rounds of this process. Things came out the way they should.
Now we have 3 months to hope he doesn't get sick.
Very nice. Anybody have any comments or questions? Well, then, Howard?
Well, with budget season, is he going to be contacted at all over the 3 months, working with you guys for the budget?
I anticipate that we'll let him know what's going on, but we'll be formulating the budget and finalizing that before he comes on board. Tim? Yeah, Tim?
Mr. Chairman, I just wanted to add an aside that I actually had worked with Peter at WKVT back in the late 70s when he found that radio was not his choice, but it's great to see that you can come home again.
Yep. Yeah, what's your name?
Chris Lindwall with WKVT. Just wondering when Mr. Elwell came into the search process, was he one of the previous candidates or was he part of this last round of applicants?
That's a good question. In fact, Peter explained to us that he had watched as the process unfolded in the first round and the second round and the third round, and that none of those times were exactly right for him to put in, and so with regret he had not put his application in. And then after the town manager candidate precipitously pulled his name out like 4 weeks ago, maybe today or something, and we were left to begin the search again, Peter was in touch and asked if he could submit his paperwork and if we might be willing to consider it. And we considered his paperwork along with everybody else's, and he actually was in for interview with a series of candidates just at the end of that week, I think it was. Any other questions or comments? Well, I move to approve the employment agreement between the town of Brattleboro and Peter Elwell for the period January 20, 2015 to June 30, 2019 in the form that it's been presented. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor please say aye. Aye. Anybody opposed or abstaining? That carries 5-0. So I'm going to execute the contract, and I'm doing that on behalf of the town of Brattleboro as the chair of the select board and the town's and the select board's duly authorized agent, and I'm going to execute 2 copies of that contract, and then I'm going to ask the town clerk if she could, meet me halfway through. Yeah.
Are you happy?
Am I happy? It's a great choice. I mean, you know, it's a good choice.
Chris, are we?
And something about a really good nanny. And Chris understands that. Since he posted on Hi Brattleboro a clip from Mary Poppins today. So we have. I miss all the Hi Brattleboro stuff. Well, it's okay. Plays games, all sorts.
What's on for you, David?
There's a second card.
How are you going to use that on the radio, Chris?
Website.
Social media. See, social media.
Nice. So modern. There.
Thank you. Is there any other business for tonight? Well, we're ready for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
We have a motion to adjourn. Anybody, any comments?
No.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed or abstaining? That carries 5-0. Thanks, everybody, for being here.
That's a wrap.
And thanks for all the press coverage.
Okay, now we only have the budget.